Hello, everyone. Welcome back to New Sarum. This scene is set. We begin in, I would just say, in Bianca's house. Isabell and Bianca have awoken for the night. They both wake earlier than most people do, 6 o'clock. And this time of year, it is dark outside at 6 o'clock, which they love. And they're getting ready, and they're going to go and feed before they head to the pleasure palace for the night. I think they've decided, just for expediency's sake, um, to feed at Club Gemini because it's close to the pleasure palace and a viable feeding ground. And it's become kind of like the rack for the neonates anyway. So I would say that they wake up, they get dressed, and they head there. And Bianca looks like that she's in a really good mood, which makes Isabell happy.
Because passing your flashback roll is a wonderful thing. Bianca's happy, energized, ready to go tonight. She's wheeling and dealing and flirting and whatnot is at the Gemini, telling stories, drawing people in, and just for expediency's sake, between a couple people, she ends up getting 3 points of blood uh, with her far-fetched tales of intrigue and turmoil, stories that always seem to catch people's attention. They're just fun to tell for her. And so she gets her blood for the night.
Isabel's not quite the storyteller that Bianca is. She's rather bad at it. Her the easiest, best way for her to lure people in is with her looks, because she is very attractive and can be very seductive. She's a Toreador after all. So she will take a little bit longer than Bianca to get her blood tonight. With the first person, she only gets 1 point of blood, and that's not enough for her. Being a bit low on blood, and knowing what is might probably transpire this evening, she needs more than that. So she'll be going to look for someone else and try again. And she does much better this time. Um, she manages to not only lure one person but two, and in fairly short succession, and get 4 more points of blood to put her at 9 blood for the evening, which would suffice her. She's almost full, so she's satisfied. Sorry I took so long. I guess I was a little off my game.
No need to worry, my dear. It was a bit slow when we first got here.
Well, shall we head over to Pleasure Palace?
The sly grin comes across her face.
Isabel uh, smiles at that, lowers her eyes a little bit, and goes to exit Gemini.
Fast forward sound as we get to the pleasure palace inside. Miranda's here. She's been getting stuff ready per Bianca's orders. Uh, she's the only non-kindred here at the moment. Uh, she's got a blindfold and door to a certain room closed, and she stands there waiting as Bianca begins approaching her.
Isabel's nervous. She knows what room they're going in and what's going to be transpiring. They talked about this the previous night, but she's nervous. Her breathing is quickened. Um, if her heart was beating, it would be pounding right now.
All right, my dear. Uh, you're obviously going to need to change into something, well, less clothing.
She nods. I figured as much, so she just removes all of her clothes.
Wonderful. Miranda, my dear. Miranda steps forward with the blindfold and goes behind you and places it on, tying it tightly over your eyes.
Isabel takes in a sharp breath as the blindfold's put on, and now that overwhelming feeling of uncertainty and fear is washing over her. She fidgets. Uh, she tries not to, but she does. She fidgets, and she will go ahead and turn Auspex on, though, um, to heighten her other senses. Probably her sense of hearing at first, and then later on she'll change it to touch.
Well, perception awareness then, because she just tried to do something quietly.
All right. Is 4 successes good?
Unfortunately, you hear the door open.
She draws in another sharp breath, and there might be an audible gasp as well.
I see you're listening quite keenly tonight.
Well, when I can't see, I tend to try and use other senses.
Of course, my dear. Well, follow me, and you can feel something then uh, clip onto each nipple. So,
She'll wince at that, um, but it's not a. It's yeah, it's a very familiar sensation to her, so it almost comforting.
and then there's a tugging, and you're being led by these.
And she knows the drill. She, obeys the tugging of the nipple clamps.
You're brought into the room, made to kneel over a spanking bench. You can tell that that's what it is because, well, you've been on one enough times. And you then hear the sound of chains rattling.
And I'm sure it's because her Auspex is on, that sound is very loud in her ears, um, which in and of itself is a bit painful. Um, yeah, and it's echoing in her mind.
No, echoing in the room. There doesn't seem to be a whole lot in here to absorb sound.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, and probably echoing in her mind a little bit too, honestly. But it's a very loud sound, maybe a bit higher pitched than it normally would be. And the echo is just, yeah.
You feel manacles being placed on your wrists and ankles. You then feel something exceedingly cold dragged across your skin.
She will definitely wince at the cold. Um, it's probably from the chain. And she'll even say, "Did you have that on ice?"
You can tell. Oh, I'm glad to know that.
Of course I can tell.
It's been on dry ice the last half hour, since she wasn't exactly sure when we'd get here. But before that, it was in the freezer.
She'll just smile and nod.
And then there's a lot of clicking and locking and clicking and tugging. And you're pressed pretty tightly down onto the spanking bench when you finally hear the last click.
So she's basically ratcheted down onto the spanking bench. So when she tries to move, she really can't.
No, you're pretty sure you could probably pump some blood to try and do it, and you'd still be struggling very hard.
she's gonna think to herself, she got login chain or something. Um, she doesn't say that out loud. That's totally in her head. Um, but it makes her very nervous um, as well. Even though that they talked about this the previous night, just having it put in practice is very overwhelming. Makes her a bit anxious, and she can feel the fear rising in her as what might be happening. She knows that that blindfold's probably going to be coming off pretty soon.
It is, and beforehand, though, you hear the sound of a metal cart being wheeled up next to you. And as that cart comes to a stop, there's some pressure on the back of your head as the blindfold is untied and removed. As you look around the room, the floor is salt, the hardwood, the walls are bare. Right in front of you, though, is a cross. It looks like it's been moved down from the usual position to be like eye level.
And it's a normal cross, not a St. Andrew's, yes.
Correct.
Rolling that willpower. That is a botch. So she botches. I botched this willpower roll. She is now in a state of absolute terror and she cannot get away. I now need to roll courage to see if she's going to fear frenzy, especially since she cannot get away from the object of her terror. And thankfully, oops, she passes. So she does not frenzy, but she is in absolute terror. She's screaming. She's struggling against these chains. She's crying. There are tears rolling down her face. This is not a pretty sight.
You then feel a soft hand on the back of your head just stroking you. You're all right, my dear. This is what we're here for, remember? You're all right.
She doesn't even really hear Bianca tell her that her eyes are fixated on this cross and how terrified she is of it.
Bianca walks and steps in front of you, obscuring your sight of the cross. She kneels down, eye level with you. Charisma, performance. Where is it? There it is. Okay. Now, my dear, I only needed one, but three makes it even better. Because Miranda's paying close attention too. My dear, you're gonna be alright. You're okay. You're here with me. Nothing's gonna harm you. You're safe. And there's something about her right now that's pulling your mind back from that cross to focus solely on her.
What was the roll?
Awe, presence one.
Ah, okay. Um, yeah, she will that now fixate on Bianca in complete and total awe of her. Her mind's not on the cross anymore. I'm gonna roll willpower to make sure that, yeah, that she doesn't see the cross anymore. She just sees Bianca and her soothing voice. She trusts Bianca with her life. She knows that Bianca will never harm her in any way that she doesn't ask for.
Alright, so we're okay again, yes, my dear?
Yeah, yeah, we're all right. Yeah, nothing bad's happening, right?
Right. You staying here strapped down, just like the good girl you are.
She'll nod.
Bianca will kiss your forehead. Are we ready to try the next one?
She takes a deep breath, and she'll
She
give a
goes,
slight nod.
wonderful, my dear. And she reaches over to the metal tray that's next to you. It seems to be back just enough that you can't quite see what's on it from your angle. And she picks something up. You can hear the metal sliding, scraping across it. She then pulls another across and holds it between the two of you.
Isabel has her eyes closed right now.
Open your eyes, my dear.
She opens her eyes and is faced with this cross right in front of her. And this time, she is able to maintain her composure. She is uncomfortable, but she is not in abject fear and terror as she was with the previous cross. She is now just looking at it, maybe even telling it, it doesn't have power over me. You don't have power over me. In her head to the cross. And she'll even whisper, you don't have power over me. You don't.
She then slowly leans it forward, touching it to your forehead. See? It doesn't do anything.
She flinches when the cross touches her forehead, but it doesn't do anything to her. She gives a slight smile.
See, that wasn't so bad now, was it? And she sets it back up there and reaches for something else. And she picks this one up. It doesn't sound metal or wood.
She is curious about that.
Now, this one, if you don't react poorly to it, I think will help you the most. Help bring you closer to. And then there's this wicked grin on her face. God, so to speak.
She gets this utterly confused look on her face, especially hearing Bianca utter the words closer to God. Just sounds so weird.
She then holds it up in front of you. It's black silicone. It's a cross. It's definitely a cross. There's Jesus right there on it, right in your face.
Yep, another willpower roll. That's only a fail. It's not a botch. So this one, though she reacts poorly to, but not quite as poorly as the very first cross, but she's still struggling against the chains. She's scared.
Remember, my dear, just like the last one, this one won't hurt you. And she slowly moves it forward and touches you with it.
She screams, even though it doesn't do anything to her. She still screams because she's afraid. Um,
She's gonna hold it there until you realize that it's not doing anything.
I'm gonna roll courage, and I pass. Um, she will attempt to calm herself down, knowing that she can't get away from it, but knowing that it's not hurting her. Um, she's okay, giving herself a pep talk.
And to prove that it's not gonna hurt you, my dear, she turns it upside down, and you see a large dildo coming out of the bottom of it.
Oh my. She closes her eyes and kind of shakes her head, but she's also kind of excited by the thought because she's deviant. Like, not in nature or anything, but she is a sexual deviant. As you wish, Miss Bianca.
Open wide then.
Sh- she opens her mouth.
Are your eyes still open?
Yep.
She slowly inserts that all the way into as far into your mouth as it'll go until that crossbar hits your cheeks.
Yeah, she's sputtering and choking and now probably crying a little bit because this cross has entered her body. Um, yeah, that'll continue until Bianca decides to remove it.
And she'll hold it there for 10, 20 seconds before pulling it out. She knows that she'll gasp and sputter, but she knows she's not hurt. She knows she's not dying. She knows she's not dead.
Well, Isabel is very much dead, but that's beside the point. She's still, well, technically, she is still breathing. Uh, even though she doesn't need to, her body automatically does. Um, but even though she does know that she's okay, there's still a part of her that is react um, reacting poorly to this experience. She's trying to be good, but part of her struggling because she's trying to be good and not let it affect her, but she can't help how it affects her.
See, my dear? No, just fine. And she sets that one down and picks up the first one that she had off the table again. See, my dear? You're still okay. And she touches it to you again. Since you've already seen this one, you shouldn't have to roll again, I don't think.
No, especially if it didn't ever leave her field of vision and then come back, so I don't have to roll again. No, I mean I can because I failed the last one, so I
Roll
could
again.
roll again if I wanted to.
Well, it did leave her field of vision.
Oh, did it? I didn't hear that. Okay, if it left my field of vision and then came back, I have to roll again. That was a good one. Okay, she is slightly uncomfortable, but is no longer freaking out.
See, my dear? You're doing better already. And she kisses your forehead again. Are you good for now? Or do you want to keep going for tonight?
No, I think that's fine for tonight. If that's okay, I'm ready to stop.
Of course, my dear. And she sets it back onto the tray, and you can hear the tray wheeling away. Bianca stays right in front of you and puts the blindfold back on you. And then they begin removing the chains. And she then picks you up and carries you to the shower.
Isabel throws her arms around Bianca's neck and basically holds on for dear life. She's crying under the blindfold. It's been a very stressful situation for her.
And she'll put you in the shower, turn on the hot water. All right, my dear, clean yourself up. We still have an evening with Miss Noelle when she arrives. She should be waking up and getting here any time now, I hope.
Yeah, I would say by now it's around 9 or 10 o'clock. Um, since it took Isabel 2 hours to feed earlier.
Yep.
She gets into the shower and cleans herself up. She cries for a couple more minutes while she's in the shower, but then she stops and she gets out of the shower and puts her clothes on. She goes to the VIP room and curls up next to Bianca and lays her head in her lap, waiting for Noelle to arrive.
Um, True to form, Noelle shows up. They both hear. They hear the door opening, and both Isabel and Bianca hear the clicking of heels as they walk across the floor. I assume it's not carpet. Um,
It is not.
okay.
No, because carpet is hard to clean, and there's going to be bodily fluids from people at some point.
You know, especially in this scene, I was gonna really feel bad for you. Is Miranda at the front?
She is. She seems to be waiting for you.
Okay. Um, for Miranda's description, I guess, Noelle is wearing skinny jeans, um, rather high pair of heels, and a black tube top right now. Um, and surprise, surprise, she has a purse with her. It's not really a surprise. Skinny jeans normally have pockets. Um, um, Noelle will look at Miranda and say, "Good evening."
Good evening, Miss Bianca. Miss Bianca is waiting for you. They're in
Hello.
the VIP room.
Thank you. She'll walk. She'll walk past Miranda and head over into the VIP room.
You will hear her locking the door behind you.
All right.
Not to the VIP room, but to the outside.
Oh, to the outside. All right.
Yeah, because the club is closed to the public on Mondays and
Okay,
Tuesdays.
I thought you meant the VIP room. I was like, wait, what? Okay, I guess.
No, she's out by the front door where you came in.
Okay.
And when you come into the VIP room, Bianca's sitting on the couch. Isabel's laying with her head in her lap.
Well, damn, you already look like I did a number on you. Noelle will say sarcastically.
Isabel will look up and sit up and smile. Yeah, Bianca and I decided that while we waited for you that we would start to work on my little cross problem.
Okay.
I do love me some fair play.
Isabel shudders. Isabel's hair is wet, by the way, and she's dressed in her usual attire that you seem to always see her in, yoga pants and a tank top, because that's what she brought to lounge around in.
Noelle's okay with yoga pants. Like, completely.
She just likes to stare at Isabel's ass.
Yes, she does.
Isabel's okay with this.
So, what sort of techniques you wanted to learn first, my dear?
Well, I'd like to get started on something a bit foundational. I want to get to know more about the body and how it ticked.
All right.
And considering what I had done previously, just kind of clear her throat a little bit, even though she doesn't need to do that. I was thinking maybe I could start with a second attempt at that. Something a little more, she'll look Isabel up and down, extensive.
Bianca looked at Isabel.
Isabel looks at Bianca like, hmm?
Are you up to being dissected, my dear?
Dissected? I don't know about that. Hmm. She contemplates for a moment. I guess it depends on how far you go tonight. How far are you wanting to go, Noelle?
Don't ever
Do you want
ask
to?
me that. She'll smile. It may be a good idea to have a safe word for this one.
Safe word. Right. Uh,
I know, right? We never fucking use those.
um, no. Hmm. So are you just wanting to like flay off some more skin, or are you wanting to go deeper?
Just right now, just some more skin. I want to get good at one thing before I start branching out.
All right. I think that I can handle some of that. Sure. Just lay me down on a slab, and she winks at Bianca.
Well, in that case, I guess we're gonna have to go into the other room. There is carpeting in here.
Yes, and I thought that you said there was going to be no play in here anyway.
There's not.
We should probably go into the medical room, right? Doesn't that room have a drain in the floor?
It does. It also has a metal table.
Well, there we are.
Lead the way, my dear. Or shall I?
Oh, I will. I'll lead the way for you two lovely ladies. And she winks and smirks at both of you when she says that. Um, and she kind of merrily leads the way to the medical room.
Bianca will follow beside Noelle. It's always good to watch her leading people. I think Bianca's eyes are locked on Isabel's ass as she's saying this.
That's fine. Noelle's are too.
Isabel knows that both of them are watching her, so she makes sure to stick out her butt a little bit more and maybe lift her legs a little higher. Um,
It's pony play night, is it? All right then.
um, they get to the room, and Isabel doesn't even wait to be told. She just starts removing her clothes.
Do you want a back or a front?
Mm, I like the front. I wanted to see my face as I do this.
All right then, Isabel, my dear. Lay down on your back.
And she does as she is told.
And this table is cold.
Yeah, and she's now switched her aspects to touch, so it's very cold for her right now. And she audibly gasps and winces as she gets down, as she lays down on the table.
I suppose I could have gotten the gun here, but the table from the morgue is so much more fun.
Oh, completely. As Noelle reaches into her purse and pulls out pretty much the only instrument she ever uses for things like this, her knife.
Um, and Isabel will say, "Well, I mean, it is appropriate. I am already a dead body."
Quiet, my dear. So, what are you hoping to dig into tonight? Her breasts, and she kind of slaps the one on her side of the table. Or are you thinking thigh, and she slaps the one on her side of the table? Or maybe something a little thin as skin, and she kind of pokes her stomach.
So I have to mention this now that you do see Isabel's. And I should have said this at the birthday party, but I forgot to mention it. So Isabel has extensive scarring on her abdomen and inner thighs. And they are, if Noelle knows anything about it, they are self-harm scars.
Considering Noelle's background, she knows more than a few self-harmers, or knew more than a few self-harmers back in the day. Noelle will ask about that a bit later. But right now, she doesn't want to pry into someone as she is prying into someone, if you know what I mean.
Totally. But when Bianca touches her stomach, she no doubt touches a scar 3, and Isabell will shift a bit uncomfortably.
When she's touching the scars on her stomach, it's a very loving, gentle touch.
Yeah.
Yes, but now she's all of a sudden self-conscious about exposing that in front of Noelle. But she won't say anything about it.
Okay. Does she actually look self-conscious?
You can roll perception empathy to see if she does, if you can. And I'll go ahead and roll all 3 dice I have for manipulation subterfuge.
That's fine. I'll go ahead and do that.
Nope. Nothing. I fail. At least it's not a botch.
Oh, hey, there's 4.
Yeah, you can tell that when Bianca touches her stomach, she looks a bit uncomfortable.
Noelle has something to say on it, but not right now. She doesn't want to get super weirdly personal just right this moment. Maybe afterwards.
Mm-hmm. Totally.
Although she will kind of look down. Like, do the scars cover the entirety of her stomach? Like her entire midriff? Like,
no, it's not that extensive, but there are several scars, almost like tiger stripes, on her abdomen. There are a few that crisscross, but yeah, it's not like burn victim scarring, but there are many cuts. You can tell that that was one of, and her inner thighs kind of look the same way. It's tiger striped cuts, and they interlace. Some of them do.
all right. So what Noelle's going to do is she'll walk up, extend her knife out, and then she'll start making small incisions at a spot where those scars are not. She's actually going to avoid those since Isabell is uncomfortable with those and not in a way that Noelle is really looking for her to be uncomfortable with, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, her above her belly button, there's nothing. It's just mainly below the belly button and on her hips.
Okay, that's all good. Noelle will probably like hold on to Isabell's side to like stabilize herself, and then she'll start being very slow and methodical about these cuts. Whereas before she just kind of excitedly walked over and just started rending flesh. Now she's being a lot more careful and a lot more thoughtful about it.
As you make your first cuts, Isabell sucks in a breath, winces, even moans. And she doesn't. She closes her eyes at first, but then she opens them again, um, wanting you to see her reaction.
Yep. Each time she curves the blade, Noelle will kind of basically check out Isabell again just to see where she's at. Kind of liking the fact that she's liking this because Noelle doesn't get to go ham like this super often.
Right. Oh yeah, she gets the farther you get, the more into it she is. She'll start. She tries not to move because writhing. She doesn't. Not that it would be really bad for her because you're not gonna cut an artery or whatever. But she's not gonna die from this. But um, more to not mess you up. She's in a headspace where she's being fairly submissive and she doesn't want to mess you up.
Mhm.
And also because Bianca's right there and she wants to make sure that she does well for Bianca. Um, so she tries to move as as less as she can. Like she doesn't want to move very much, but she's still. You can tell that she enjoys it, as painful as it is. She definitely enjoys it.
All right. Noelle has actually been making a pattern as she's been cutting, because these are much smaller cuts, very curved cuts that she's been making. Um, and then finally, once she is cut deep enough into Isabel's stomach, that's when Noelle will start to peel the skin back. It's a very slow process. It's almost it's almost comparable to ripping off a Band-Aid.
Go ahead and roll some damage. Strength +1.
Oh, okay. Oh, damn.
Shit. Yeah, I don't soak any of it. So you've now, right now you've done 3 lethal damage to Isabel, or 2. Was it just 2?
Serum, we don't count ones.
Oh right, we don't count ones in new serum. So 1.
Okay, so it's 2 lethal rather
So
than
2
a lot.
lethal. Yeah. All right. So yeah, she's feeling a lot of pain, but she still enjoys it.
Yep. Once she's done removing all of that skin, Isabel will actually see what she's actually made with that. She has actually carved the Toreador rose directly into Isabel's stomach.
Oh, that's awesome. Isabel will kind of when you hold up the skin, and she kind of starts to see that pattern in the skin that you've taken off, she'll actually kind of lift up a little bit her head to look down at her abdomen to see what you've done.
Would you like a picture, my dear?
She nods. Yes, please.
Bianca walks over by the door and presses a button.
I mean, you don't mind, do you, Noelle, if Miranda comes takes a picture?
No, not at all.
Okay.
A few moments later, the door opens and Miranda's there with a camera. And she comes in and, all right, my dear, take some pictures of her pretty decoration before it fades away, please. Miranda gives a nod. Yes, Miss Bianca. And she goes and takes some photos. And after each click, you hear the shh. And she'll take several photos with and without flash from different angles. She looks very excited about it. And she'll then, when she's finished, she even got up on the table to like get straight down on Isabel's stomach.
Nice.
And then she gets down and goes back to Miss Bianca, who gives her a nod. She leaves the room and closes the door behind her.
Tim, go ahead and make a Dex craft roll to see how well you did on this.
Okay. Could expression work? Because I think
Just to see. Yeah,
I'll do,
expression, either one.
yeah, I'll do expression just because that's higher for Noelle. That's why I make sure I got the right score. Give me just a sec.
Don't forget celerity.
Yes, don't forget your celerity.
With hey, that's 4. It's not bad.
Is very good. It's not exceptional, but it is good. That is great, especially for your first. Well, is this your first time carving a design into someone's skin? Um,
Yes. No, I was
okay.
done. Yeah.
Yeah, that is amazing. It's very much the likeness of the Toreador rose.
That is quite exquisite work. Only thing I might recommend is a slight change in your implement. Using a scalpel will allow you to get that line a little cleaner.
You're right.
That's about the only thing I can really see wrong with this. It's beautiful work.
Thank you.
Isabell is absolutely beaming, even though she's in pain. Um, this is amazing. Like, uh, this is some awesome, awesome stuff. She likes that she's able to see it too. She probably would have been a little sad if this had been done on her back. So, um, she really really likes that. Wow, Noelle, you are extremely talented. Ugh. She'll wince and moan a few times.
She'll giggle and say, I did a lot of sketches beforehand, so I'm glad it came out.
you so you've been planning this since probably since last week, huh?
She'll kind of hold up her hand and to let me show you. Bring up my camera. Doing that.
Oh yeah, just a little bit. Just a little bit. Isabel will smile. Well, no wonder you were so excited. This is yeah, I like this. And she'll actually allow that to stay until it heals on its own, which I think it's 1 point of lethal per hour that heals normally. Yeah.
um,
So
I
she
think
won't.
for vampires, unless they've house ruled that, I think you heal by just spending blood.
Right, but I mean, she's not going to spend the blood to heal it. She's going to let it stay until it heals on its own.
Okay. Okay, I
So,
got you. I got you.
because lethal will automatically heal unless you spend blood to heal it immediately.
Okay.
It's only ag that you absolutely have to spend blood to heal. So,
Well, if you would like to do this again, my dear, I do have scalpels. Keep them around for decorative cuttings myself.
If you don't mind, I'd like to try a scalpel. I'll admit I just like the knife.
Knives off. Do you want to try it now or on your next visit?
Noelle will actually look to Isabell and say, it's up to you. How much can you take right now?
she puts her finger to her lips. Hmm. Well, I think as long as it's not too big, I could probably handle a little bit more right now.
Okay. I'll go for something a bit smaller. Maybe Noelle will kind of place her hand on Isabel's outer thigh.
She'll nod. All right. Sure.
Would you like her to roll on her side so you can reach it easier?
If she doesn't mind, that would be amazing.
Isabell.
Oh yeah, Isabel will get on her side.
Bianca goes over to the drawers of medical equipment, pulls out a number 10 scalpel, brings it over, offers it to Noelle.
Thank you so much. She'll go ahead and take that. And this time, Noelle's going to go for something a little different. Um, rather than before what Isabel's going to feel, rather than like the shorter, more curved cuts, it's going to be a lot more circles and a lot of crossing on her thigh.
And I'm sure that the cutting is much smoother using an actual scalpel. It's not dragging across her skin nearly as much.
Yeah.
Um, which, Isabel's conflicted about that because she actually likes the dragging of the knife, but she also likes the bite of the scalpel. So, she's thinking in her head, I wonder if they have serrated scalpels. I think that would be good.
As she goes ahead and does her thing. It's much smaller than her last piece. I guess I'll go ahead and call it. I'll go ahead and roll Dex expression again. Okay. She didn't have as much practice on this one since she just kind of did it very ad hoc. Noelle actually carved the Clan Bruja symbol into Isabel's thigh.
Well, the Brujas symbol is fairly simple, so I would say with 2 successes, it's still very recognizable.
Yeah.
The circle's probably not very round, I would just say, for that.
Yeah, it's a bit uneven. Noelle probably guessed that yeah, considering she just kind of did that on the fly, it's not too bad.
Bianca's looking at this. Looking at it. That's quite a choice of a second design. You can definitely tell you're less practiced in this shape. It's still recognizable. Cuts are clean. Bit of practice, you can probably do this one just as well.
I wish
I
the
approve.
circle was round though. Noelle's just staring at it.
That would be easier. Or better, I should say. If you're ever doing that sort of thing and you're worried, you can always bring something to give you that edge you need. Plate, bowl, cup, depending on the size of the circle you need. You
You
can
can draw it on beforehand and use, something to give you that circle as she's kind of craning her neck over. She's very flexible, so she's kind of twisted her abdomen even though it hurts, and she's whimpering and wincing because it's a lot of pain in her abdomen, but to look over at what you're doing, um, and she, makes that suggestion that you could draw it on beforehand.
Noelle's never quite seen Isabel be quite this flexible. Noelle kind of forgot that Isabel was a gymnast. Considering the fact that Isabel doesn't have anything on, she's bleeding, skin's removed, and she's just straight out being super flexible. Noelle's just gonna lose her composure for a couple seconds and be like, yeah, 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 mm-hmm. Just nods.
Isabel's just smiling.
It is nice to see you both getting along like this without just staring off into nothingness or your handiwork.
Well, that first time,
It's never like the first time again.
exactly. And that
No.
time, it's not just what's made; it's about also the emotion too. Because we went in, we tried something new. There was a lot of passion. Not that there isn't right now, but
Well, this environment, the environment that we're in right now, is much more controlled. And my at my party, you're right. It was the first time that we've done anything like this together. Hell, we barely even know each other, but that's beside the point. Um, and yeah, so I understand. I always, it's never like the first time. She glances at Bianca about when she says that.
Bianca's watching Noelle.
Noelle's just kind of chilling there, and she just says, "Well, today definitely worked out really well, actually."
It's been a very productive day, hasn't it?
Yes.
She kind of says that to both of you, but to Bianca in particular.
Productive. I suppose so.
So, Isabel is not bleeding, by the way, because she didn't allow herself to. So, basically, what you see on, her skin. I mean, there probably is some residual blood on the skin that's been removed, and some on your hands. But as far as like her bleeding, she hasn't allowed herself to do that. So there's not, like blood all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so you'll see very clean work that you've done, um, because there's not a lot of blood everywhere. At her party, she did allow herself to bleed some just for effect.
Yeah.
And she was kind of zoned out to not stop it.
True, that's true. Isabel's quite maintained her composure this evening. But anyway, so Isabel will kind of lay there for a little bit, letting Noelle admire her work, but then she'll uh, kind of look to Bianca. Was there anything else?
Not unless Miss Noelle had some questions about anything.
Not necessarily a question. Just a anecdote is a good one. If it may not make sense, depending on what I'm about to say.
Alright.
Noelle will just kind of drag her fingers along the scar on her throat, and she'll just say, "It's proof you made it. Don't be ashamed of making it."
Let's see if Isabel can keep from crying. Nope, that's a failed self-control roll.
Oh
For
no,
crying.
no, I didn't mean to.
Just for it's not a bad cry. It's more of a she understands what you mean, and she's been shamed for those scars before. Um, and she's been ashamed of them because she has been told that self harming is weakness. So to hear Bianca hasn't told her that. Bianca has tried to raise her self esteem about that, but there are still those thoughts that come creeping in. So she's always nervous when new people see them. So it means a lot to her that you just said this to her. So she whispers, "Thank you," and some tears fall from her eyes. So now she is bleeding because she's crying.
Oh, Noelle will grab some paper, some. Fuck it. Noelle's the kind of chick that has purse napkins.
That's awesome. She'll take the whatever you give her and she'll wipe the blood off of her face. I'm sorry. I'm always nervous when new people see them. Bianca helped me long ago um, with not doing this anymore. There's been a few times where I've thought about doing it again, but I didn't. I came real close one night, but I managed to keep from doing it. It's, it's a point that I struggle with. So I appreciate what you said.
Hey, no problem. She'll kind of reference to the scar on her throat once again and say, "There's a reason I don't put makeup on this."
She'll nod. You're very brave for wearing that the way that you do. I've never brought myself to be able to do that.
Well, my embrace certainly was dramatic. Let's say that.
Yeah, mine kind of was too, actually. I suppose in true Toreador fashion, it probably should be, right?
Yeah.
Isabel will reach for both, with each of her hands standing on opposite sides of the table. So she'll reach out for both Bianca and Isabel's hands,
Mm-hmm.
Bianca and Noelle's hands. Ugh,
I know what you meant. Um,
yeah,
and Noelle will definitely hold her hand if that's what she's going for.
yeah, that's what she's going for. She wants to take both of your hands. Will Bianca take Isabel's hand?
Yes, of course she will. That wasn't a question.
Well, still. And then she'll give both of them a squeeze and she'll kiss each of them on the hand. Bianca's first, and then Noelle's,
Mm-hmm.
and then Bianca's again.
Bianca just smiles.
Well, shall we go somewhere that's a bit more comfortable?
You want off of the cold table, don't you?
Kinda, if I'm allowed off the cold table. And she's turned her auspex off now.
I suppose you can get off the table. You just don't get on the floor.
She'll furrow her brow at you. I can't fly. I'm not that fast.
Not being very creative tonight either. I see.
She kind of gestures to all of her.
I'm very aware of it, my dear.
I'm not quite in the state of mind to be too creative right now. I just would very much like to go back to
The VIP
the
room.
VIP room and lay on the couch with both of you if you would allow that.
I think there's enough room.
Hey, I'm down.
And
And if Isabel is given permission to leave to do that, she will uh, collect her clothes from where she took them off and head back. She'll put them on and head back to the VIP room, and she will sit in between Noelle and Bianca and kind of go back and forth, laying her head on each of their shoulders. And if there's nothing else, I think we can end our scene.
Yep.
Good night.